Shalom, shalom. Greetings to you all in the name of Jesus Christ. We bless his holy name for such an opportunity. Now I pray for you that this will be the most beautiful day in your life. It is, yes, possible for you to see the light that is greater than the one you have ever seen. In the name of Jesus Christ, may you increase, may you expand, may you grow stronger in everything concerning you in Jesus' mighty name. We are so grateful to the Father for this opportunity once again. The Lord has given us the day, and we're going to be glad in it as we discover a lot concerning God and concerning Christ, concerning us as well. Once we discover Christ, we discover God. Once we discover God, we discover ourselves. So that is why we share the message of the gospel, which reveals Christ who is the fullness of the Father and the fullness of man as well. So once we understand this, it helps us to live the fulfilled life. I'm telling you, you should give it time and discover it. And don't conclude that you know. You should be ready to learn every single day. That teachability index is very necessary for you to grow. The attitude of learning, the attitude of growing, of learning will help you grow. You cannot grow unless you're learning. For instance, if you are studying a certain course or taking a certain course, you grow, you get more knowledge because you have joined it. If you don't, of course, you will not grow. So that is how it works. We're gonna grow in the Lord because we have decided to listen, to accept and give heed to his message. His message will of course increase our understanding about him. And like I said, you can only discover yourself in God. Therefore, as you're learning God, you are learning yourself. So this is the beauty of it. It is in God that we discover ourselves, our true identity. And we cannot be fulfilled unless we know our identity. This is the highest crisis in the world. This identity crisis, but we are learning to discover this so that we may be free from this crisis. And I believe that your life will grow, will increase. You will see it yourself. You will testify of what God is doing in your life. Today is yet another opportunity to see more, to expand into what God has done for us. We are learning about this better covenant, that this is the covenant of mercy. This is the covenant of forgiveness. None is not compared to the previous covenant. And I was trying to explain that what we have in the new, we have the testament, a little bit different from the covenant. Though we use the new covenant, normally the proper word which is supposed to be used is testament. Testament is different from covenant. Covenant has to do with two parties coming into agreement. So two people have to agree on certain terms and conditions, and people should decide what is going to be their terms and conditions that they have agreed on, and they will follow after that. Whoever that does not fulfill his part, fulfill the terms and conditions as agreed, then there will be there won't be any covenant again, or there will be a separation, or they will decide to terminate the covenant, or in the terms and conditions there are punishments or some ransom or whatever that has been agreed on. So in the old covenant, God will show us, will reveal us that according to the pattern, according to the covenant we had with the children of Israel, they did not walk, they did not keep that covenant, and that disregarded them. And that was according to that pattern, to that covenant. But you see, this better covenant, I want you to get it very well. It is far better than that first covenant. What we have is testament. And I was trying to explain that the testament means there is a testator who chooses by his own will to give out his possession or his own riches freely to the one he chose. It might be a father who decides to give his inheritance to his child, or maybe a person that decides to give his inheritance to somebody probably close or whatever, whoever that he chooses to give his own riches. It is upon the testator, it is upon the giver who chooses by his own will. And so he writes in the will that this possession of mine will go to so and so. And once it is written in the will and he dies, no one can change it. It has to be followed accordingly. This is what we have in the New Testament. So actually the New Testament has to do with the inheritance, not terms agreed between two parties. So we are actually not in the covenant with God like it is said everywhere and popular. The truth is there's nothing like a covenant in the Old Testament pattern or style or example. We have something different. And that is why this writer is trying to tell us in Hebrews chapter 8 verse 6, but now he has obtained a more excellent ministry. So we have a different and a very excellent ministry. So he calls it excellent because it was so special, unique, peculiar. But now he has obtained a more excellent ministry. This is an excellent ministry compared to the previous ministry. He was comparing to the Moses ministry, what Moses had. Because they had told us previously in verse 5, what happened, that Moses saw something in the heavenlies. He saw something when he was on the mountain, and that tabernacle he saw, he was told to build according to the pattern he saw. So much as Moses had this covenant, we are told that the new covenant, no, it's not supposed to be called the new covenant, the New Testament. What we have today is actually far better. So he begins with, but now he has obtained a more excellent, an excellent compared to what was there previously. The excellent ministry. There is an excellent ministry. Excellent ministry. We have an excellent ministry. And this ministry of Christ, which is excellent, he says, inasmuch as he is also mediator of a better covenant. So Christ was and is the mediator of this better covenant. So he uses the word excellence, and he uses the word better covenant, a mediator of a better covenant. Now this better covenant is what I was trying to describe, that we are, in the New Testament, we are children. And since we are children in the New Testament, it means there is nothing like covenant between us and our Father. No, we are children. We are born of Him. And if it is possible to be born of God, that is different from when someone has to come up with some terms and conditions, and another party also comes probably with terms and conditions as well, or they agree on that on those terms and conditions both, and that makes a covenant. So that is the covenant. Covenant has to do with two people. But you see, the testament is about children, sons. The testator chooses to make you, to give you freely. So what God did in the New Testament, what we learned, is that God gave birth to us. The Bible tells us in John chapter 1 verse 13, we are not born of the blood, of the flesh, or the will of man, but they are born of God. Which means if we are born of God, we are not in covenant with God. Think about it in a family setting. Do you mean to say that children are in the covenant with their fathers and their mothers? No, children are children in that family. They are heirs. That is why we are told in the Bible that if we are sons, then we are heirs. And we are joint heirs with Christ. So we are heirs. We are not in covenant. We are heirs because we are children. God is not in covenant with us. And this is far, far better. This is excellent. This is what He's trying to show us. That how you understand His mercy is far beyond agreeing with us about something. No, He gave birth to us. And this changes the whole scenario, the whole system, the whole environment, the whole atmosphere or condition of relationship. This relationship changes everything. You see, it's so hard to have a covenant with your child. It is so hard. You can make promises, so you can help or support us, this or that, but this is, your child is your heir. Your child will continue when you are not even there. Your child represents you. Your child carries your life, your blood. Your child carries your presence. Your child is another one in whom you dwell. That is the meaning of a son. Another one in whom the Father dwells. So this is different. So what we have is a testament, and the testament is far better than the covenant. Can you now see the difference? The New Testament is called the New Testament. The Old Testament is not supposed to be called the Testament. It's a covenant. Well, God agreed with the Jews, but today God is not agreeing with His children. No. God gave birth to His children. We became children. We became sons of God. And that changes everything. We are in His house and His home. We are there. We are heirs of His kingdom, heirs of His possession, heirs of everything He has. It is not a covenant He has with us. No, we are heirs. And that makes the difference. This is the excellent and a better covenant that He's talking about. And therefore the forgiveness, we are forgiven. My, we are forgiven. We are forgiven. And the forgiveness here is eternal, as we will continue to see it in this very